here with another comic book review. This book's a little bit older. Actually, it came out about 10 years ago, but I just recently discovered it. Let me move my mic over here. It's called The Crossed, or Crossed. Here's the first volume, trade paperback form. Garth Ennis, who had the greatest Punisher run in history, wrote this. So you know it's amazing. It's by Avatar Press. Faust, Helena, Frank Miller's RoboCop, Drive-In, just some of the most amazing adult books. I have to point that out. This is an adult book. I'm going to read the back of this book. In the blink of an eye, humanity is lost. The crossed are upon us. Men, women, and children alike fall victim to the mystery infection that makes killers out of parents and rapists out of lovers. Ruthless, berserk, and evil beyond measure. These cackling demons spread their plague across the earth until our species teeters on the brink of final extinction. Now a small band of survivors make their cautious way across a deserted America, exiting in a state of constant terror, only too aware that death beyond description lurks around almost every corner. They have in common only their determination to survive, but in the world of the crossed, survival has a cost all its own. By story's end, each will discover exactly what they'll do to stay alive, and, in a world of monsters, just how easy it is to become inhuman too. There is no hope, but there are no heroes. No one is coming to save you. There is only the cross. Extreme horror by writer Garth Ennis. You know Garth Ennis right now, hot as hell. I said from The Punisher, because he's the greatest Punisher run ever, but The Boys, which I'm sure everybody's watching, and artists, and forgive me if I mispronounce it, Justin Burrows, who did Chronicles of Wormwood and Necronomicon. This is a great book. There's some things when I take it over here to open it up for you, I can't show you a ton of it because it is an adult book. And there's some, I tell you now, if you're an animal lover like me, there's a dog in the book. The dog does not die. We're good. Kids die. People get raped. People get brutalized. It is a very, very violent book, but it's very well written because, like I said, it's Garth Ennis. I recommend picking it up. Now, this is the first chapter. And it's self-contained, but there's many more. There is about 5 or 6 offshoots. There is a web series that has been collected. So it still goes on. There's plenty of books to own. This is the first one. This is, of course, the one you want to start with. But why don't we open it up? We're going to take a look at it and then give you a couple final thoughts after the look. All right, here we go. As you can see, this is a trade. It's a soft cover. Like the first Ennis run. This is actually the 8th printing. I mean, that's how popular this was. Avatar Press, the symbol of greatness, in my opinion, because I love Avatar comics. Story by Garth Ennis. Here we go. This collects it. You can see this is the trademark of the people that turn into the cross. They're called the cross because they have this, it's a cross, but it looks like, is it a scar, a blister, who knows. But it all starts place one night, at this little diner. Everybody's there. We meet our main guy, Stan. He's the hero of the story. He's there. It's just at Jim's diner. This guy comes in. As you can see, it's a very graphic book. He bites his nose off. While they're outside, a police car crashes. People are dead through the hoods, but it turns out inside the cop car, there's more of these cross people. They're killing the cops that are burning alive. You get another one. Here's an airplane. It's got the crossed. They've now taken this over. They're crashing it. Stan's sitting there. The girl in the stripes is Kelly, who goes blind because of the flash. And there it goes. You start to see the mushroom cloud. Some of these cross people have gotten into the power plants around the world. We go into part 2 because that was kind of, now we meet, Stan. He's with this girl named Cindy who saves his life. Kelly and Thomas, they're a group of survivors. And the book does have a lot of nudity in that, so I got to be careful all that I show. Very much post-apocalyptic. I don't want to say so much in the zombie style, but a little bit. They're just a band of survivors. They don't really know what they're going to do. You get a few flashbacks. You're showing here when Cindy first comes in and she saves Thomas. She's got her little son Patrick with him. She doesn't let anyone cuss around Patrick. They form their own little band of survivors. They're kind of out in the woods. You can see various, encounters like anything. This particular guy, who's not even worth the time mentioning, just because he's only in the book for a few pages, he's convinced that salt can stop these guys, so he surrounds himself in salt, and sure enough, that doesn't mean shit as he gets ripped up. The book does deal with a lot of weird things. They kind of go from place to place. They move from houses to houses. Usually they encounter these people. And the cross people aren't like zombies. They run, they can think, they can talk, they can drive, they have weapons. They're just completely psychopathic. So they will kill and destroy everything in their way. And this kind of deals, they all got the idea, everywhere they go, it's just destruction, and these things really mess with your mind. You see here, they have figured out that they masturbate with bullets. They use the bullets to shoot people, and it infects them. Like I said, this is a very hardcore book. It's very violent. It's very graphic. Like I said, I can't go through tons of it because some of the pictures can be a little suspect at times. They get the idea to go to Alaska. They figure if they go to Alaska, everything will be, it's colder, not as many people, might be safer. And it's just their journey. They encounter a cop that's driving with one of these guys. In there, he spits on the cop. It only takes a second for them to be infected. Any kind of bodily fluid, spit, semen, what have you. They're being trailed by a group of the Crossed that are led by a guy, I'm not even going to say his name. You can Google it, fans. There he is. They go after him. They kind of escape to the cold. Along the way, they find a dog. They kind of question the humanity. Some stuff is really, really messed up. A full spoiler here that I'll get into. Cindy's little boy, Patrick, is taken by the Cross that are hunting them. As I'm flipping, I'm getting ahead of the story. You can see the artwork is nice. If Tim Vigil would have done this would have been an even bigger bloodbath. And I mentioned him because he's done, a lot of stuff for Avatar. They even call on the radio, tell her, we've got your son. What are you going to do? They go, they try to save him. Unfortunately, he's been contaminated, so she has to kill her own son. She has to go back and bury him. And when this particular story does end, like I said, there's so much here I can't show you. It has an open ending, I guess. They're just traveling on. Everybody's kind of split up, dead for what we know. So it's just now Stan and Cindy, and they're heading out. There are a lot more of these, but this is definitely a book to look at. If you want to hang on, I'm going to get you back for a final thought on Crossed. Such a good book. A really good book. I apologize, a couple pictures made there. Most of them didn't. But it's a great book. I would recommend, I keep saying that because I'd recommend anyone pick it up. It's a very different take on the whole zombie thing. I don't even like to compare it to the zombie thing because the Crossed aren't zombies. They can think, they can function. But that whole, the band of survivors, that as much as I hate to say because I'm not a fan, the Walking Dead trope, they're this band of people that were normal beforehand and they're in this extreme world. Of course it is derived. It's in that genre of book. This one is just very different because, like I said, every time you read that post-apocalyptic shit nowadays, it's always zombies. These aren't zombies. These are the Crossed. Like I said, it's an adult book. It is available wherever, as most people would say, wherever your fine books are sold. Amazon is where I got mine. You could probably get it at Cheap Graphic Novels might have it. Big Bad Toys might even still stock. You can buy it direct from Avatar. You go to your local comic shop and tell them you want Crossed Volume 1. Crossed, the original. You got to start with that because there's also like Family Values, Wish You Were Here. You want to start with Crossed. I can't tell you what I think of the other ones yet because I haven't read them. Like I said, this book's older. A lot of people probably already know what it is, but I just recently discovered it. I can't praise it enough. If you're a fan of horror, extreme, stuff like that, it's definitely a book to read and pick up. I can't recommend it enough. Next time, I think we're going to talk about a more recent graphic novel that came out, or I should say a trade collection, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, The Last Ronin.